Hello Year 7. What I'm going to do for you today is I'm going to read through the first bit of reading for this week. There are two bits of reading you have to do, and I'm going to read the first one now, and then there'll be a second video which will follow at a later date, which you can use. Now, the bit of reading we'll look at today is The Young Henry VIII. Now, this is up on the system. If you want to download it and print it off yourself, you can. If you just want to follow along as I read, you can. It's up to you. At times I may say keywords, and it might be a good idea if you write them down and the definitions. Let's get started. When Henry VIII was crowned king in 1509, he was already the hero of Tudor England. He was tall and handsome, and a keen jouster, wrestler, archer, hunter, and tennis player. So he was very athletic. Okay, not the Henry VIII that comes into our heads, who's going to become the Henry VIII later. But when he was young, he was a very athletic, strong young man. Henry VIII was taught by some of the greatest philosophers of the age, and could write poetry, compose music, and speak French and Latin fluently. The scholar, Thomas More, wrote a poem to celebrate Henry's coronation, stating, "This day is the end of our slavery, the fount of liberty, the end of sadness, the beginning of joy. High hopes rested on the young king's shoulders." Henry was not meant to be king, but he became heir to the throne aged 10 when his older brother Arthur died unexpectedly in 1502. When his father, Henry VII, died, Henry VIII inherited the throne. Straight away, Henry married his dead brother's widow, Catherine of Aragon. Catherine was pretty and intelligent Spanish princess, 6 years his senior, and their marriage secured England's alliance with Spain. So one of the reasons behind him marrying Catherine of Aragon, who was his dead brother's widow, was to make sure that England and Spain remained friends. Henry was just 17 years old when he became king. He ruled over a magnificent court with continual entertainments and parties. Henry ordered regular jousting tournaments, which he often took part in himself. All of this jousting had a serious purpose. However, Henry VIII was training his noblemen for war. The new king dreamed of conquest, transforming England into a great European empire, ruling over Wales, Scotland, Ireland, and France. It's probably fitting at this point to mention that is Chewbacca, who is overseeing me, so say hello to Chewie. War with France. Having allied with Spain and the Holy Roman Empire, Henry invaded France in 1513. The English army captured 2 towns and won a victory against the French at the Battle of Spurs. Henry's allies changed their minds, however, and decided not to invade France. This left the English army unable to advance any further. Henry signed a peace treaty with France, securing new lands and an annual payment for England. So it was a victory, but it wasn't a complete victory. During the invasion of France, the Scottish king, James IV, who was allied with France, took the opportunity to invade northern England with a large army of 60,000 men. With Henry absent, Queen Catherine organised England's defence against the Scots. The Scottish army was soundly beaten at the Battle of Flodden, with thousands killed, including the Scottish king James IV. Catherine organised for the Scottish king's blood-stained tunic to be sent as a gift to Henry VIII in France. So because Henry had gone out towards France, the Scots thought it was a good idea to come down to try and exert some pressure. However, Catherine of Aragon organised and rallied the troops, and they were able to overcome them. I'll show you a map on the next slide. Let's have a quick look at this map so we understand where we're talking, or what country we're talking about. So obviously this is England, okay? We've then got Scotland, which is an independent and different country. And then there's Ireland. We do also have Wales here, okay? Wales is under the control of the English by this point. We then look at Europe. We've got a few different changes. We've got obviously France, around them in red, okay? And then we've got Spain. Remember, we're friends with Spain because of Catherine of Aragon. And then we've got the Holy Roman Empire, okay, which is nowadays what we'd call in the land of Germany and the Czech Republic and Slovakia. And these are allied with Spain too. So what we've got here is kind of almost like a ring around France. So what Henry wants to do is he wants to invade and conquer the French. Okay. However, if we remember the Scots, they are actually friends with the French, so they're going to come down that way. Okay. So that's just a bit of a map, a bit of an idea of what the map looked like at the time. Let's move on. Victories over the French and Scottish in 1513 confirmed England's position as a major European power. Henry VIII's dream of empire was edging ever closer, but events took a bad turn in 1516 when France gained a new king, the warlike and shrewd Francis I. Warlike and shrewd. So if you're warlike, okay, that means you're good in the army and you understand military and you understand tactics. But shrewd means intelligent. Shrewd means clever. Shrewd means you know when to and when not to be aggressive. Okay, so shrewd is it's like a very, you understand the circumstances. Really important, really good word. So what I'd maybe do if I were you is write shrewd down, find a definition, write that down in your book. Okay, so really clever leader is a shrewd leader. Henry's Lord Chancellor, Thomas Wolsey, who we'll talk about at the end, persuaded Henry to make peace with France. Henry was reluctant to let go of his ambitions. To make the peace between England and France seemed more honourable. Wolsey organised to make the peace between England and France seem more honourable. Wolsey organised a magnificent celebration of peace. In 1520, Henry VIII and Francis I met in France. For 2 weeks, the young kings tried to outdo each other with displays of wealth and flamboyance. Flamboyance is flair, and sort of if you're a flamboyant footballer, it's somebody who does lots of skills. So flamboyance is showing off. Oh, look how wealthy I am. Henry and Francis even met each other in the wrestling ring, where Francis won, much to Henry's anger. Many of the tents in which the visitors stayed were made of cloth threaded with gold, so the event became known as the Field of the Cloth of Gold. Masterminding Henry VIII's early success was a priest named Thomas Wolsey. The son of an Ipswich butcher, Wolsey rose from humble beginnings to become the most powerful man in England aside from the king. Okay, so Thomas Wolsey. Can we write his name down somewhere? Make sure you've got that as part of the work. And you know who he is. Here's a picture of him. In 1514, Wolsey became the Archbishop of York. The following year, the Pope made him a cardinal, and Henry appointed him a Lord Chancellor, the King's chief advisor. Through sheer drive, Wolsey had gained complete control of English politics and the church. He worked tirelessly, organising the affairs of the state so Henry could enjoy himself. Whatever the king wanted, Wolsey would deliver. Wolsey became magnificently rich and liked to show off his wealth travelling through London each morning in a grand procession, flanked by 2 silver crosses. He built himself a house beside the River Thames, which was grander and larger than any belonging to the king. Wolsey named it Hampton Court Palace. Many in Henry's court were envious of Wolsey, resenting the fact that this butcher boy had risen to such wealth and power. His enemies nicknamed him the Fat Maggot and began to plot his downfall. So like anything, when he becomes powerful and successful, those others who are missing out become jealous. They start to plot his downfall. Now that is the reading for today done. If you need anything repeated, you can always rewind. But let's get on with the work that Miss Kelly has set for you. The second video will be later. Thank you.